Hello, welcome back to Dreamwalker Tarot. My name is Dawn, and this is the April reading for Aquarius Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Mercury. Please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for post notifications. This month, I will be doing the Celtic Cross Tarot spread, and the card that comes up in the position of your current situation is being represented here by the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is an indication that you are in a space of higher learning, that you are exploring different thoughts, different ideas. You're spending a lot of time doing research. You're spending a lot of time perhaps writing and really kind of getting into a space of really like learning and kind of exploring different methods of communication. The page is being crossed by the Four of Wands in the reverse. And so this is an indication that this acquiring of knowledge or really kind of like focused action might be as a result of handling or dealing with something that feels a little bit unstable in your life. You could be using this, like your thirst for knowledge and your active communication, to be able to write or talk about or discuss something in your life that's coming to an end, or just trying to figure out a way to kind of channel that information or be able to kind of wrap your head around something that might be ending in your life. It feels like you're actually kind of drawing into yourself and trying to find a way to learn things that kind of like make you happy, like on a personal note, to just like exploring ideas and things that, make you happy. It's like for your own personal joy, right? So again, this could be even you like reading a lot of books and really kind of throwing yourself into that. So there does feel like a withdrawal type of energy. To focus on the things that you actually enjoy doing. I'm also using the Grand Tableau, the Normand Oracle deck, to do clarifiers, and I wanted to pull a clarifier for the Four of Wands, and the cards that came up as a clarification for the Four of Wands is the Cross, the Bear, and the Ship. So this is definitely some inward look, right? So the crossing of the Four of Wands in reverse is like something internal, like it's you kind of secluding yourself a little bit. The bear is a dominating figure, right? And it's like kind of like at the center of this. So the bear is like a person who dominates your thoughts. They want to push like their agenda on you or impose their will over you. So it is someone that is in a position of leadership over you. This could be your boss. This could be a parent. This could be a sibling. This could be, someone who is just like very kind of like domineering with their opinions, their thoughts in terms of how they want you to be or to act, right? And it is causing some suffering in your life. It bothers you, right? It causes you suffering here with the cross card. And then with the ship card, it's that journey away from this person. So I feel like in your head, you might be in a space where you're really trying to figure out how better to communicate with someone that is very domineering over you or pushes or exerts their own will or control over you, how to explain to them and express to them that you don't like it, that it bothers you, that it brings you pain. But you're also in a space where you're trying to kind of like move away from that type of communication style, but also just out of having people like that in your life. Like, I feel like you don't want it. It does not appeal to you in any way. You don't want anybody to exert any control over you, of your life, of the way that you express yourself with the Page of Swords. And if you are a person who is cross listening, then if you're a parent who has a child that's an Aquarius, then in your cross listening, this is the way they feel about you, right? So this could be how you're feeling, or if you have someone in your life that's an Aquarius, they might be feeling that way towards you, if that makes any sense. So yeah, okay, so apply it as you see fit. All right. In the past, the card that comes up is a Seven of Wands, which indicates very defensive energy, kind of being caught off guard, but having to feel like you have to like defend yourself against, what people are saying or what people are doing. And again, this could be like this overbearing figure that you might feel like you have to always defend who you are to this person or defend your character to this person. And that's a part of like the backstory. In the conscious realm, we have the Temperance card. Whenever I see the Temperance card, it's like grandmother energy to me. So some of you have like a grandmother figure that, or like a maternal figure that's in spirit that is really kind of helping you like balance your energy in terms of learning how to like deal with the situation or navigate with the situation, because what you're doing is you're trying to take like a very balanced approach to handling this particular situation or handling or dealing with this person, right? You might be kind of cautious about their reaction towards what you have to say to them. Or just being kind of like guarded about dealing with them, but this is an indication that, like on a conscious level, you're really trying to like manage their emotions or manage your emotions when you have to kind of like deal with them. There is also a sense of like self mastery where you're trying to really put yourself in a position to not only like implement a lot of the things that you've been learning like into like your everyday life, and just trying to find a way to like employ the methods that you're learning in terms of like the things that you're studying or learning how to finding different ways of communicating like we said before, but just trying to find a way to like implement that. So this could also like even kind of like pertain to learning about like people's natal charts or like astrology, so that you can kind of like figure them out, and then in figuring them out and what kind of drives them, you can learn how to kind of like handle and deal with them in a better way. Like I want to tell like a story. So when I was a kid, like my grandmother would like make like coffee or tea or whatever, and so it would always be too hot. So what she would do is she would pour the liquid between two cups to kind of get it to that perfect warmth, like that the childhood story about like the bear where it's like it's too hot, it's too cold, it's just right. So pouring it between those two cups get to the space where it's just right. So I feel like that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to like implement or just basically like incorporate the things that you've learned or are learning into the way that you deal with this person. But also I feel like it's deeper. I feel like you're trying to figure out a way how to implement these things just in an overall state, like outside of them, just to make you a better person, to develop you. This might be you trying to learn a new skill sets in order to kind of be better at the work that you do, so that you can ultimately move up and away from this person, because I do feel like this sense of withdrawal is inward, but it's also a projection of you being able to move away from the situation that you're in. And in order to do that, I feel like you're working on your overall skill set and perfecting those skill sets so that you can get a better job or kind of learn what you need to learn to kind of be off on your own. In the subconscious realm, we have the Four of Cups, which in the reverse, and that's is pretty much the energy that I'm picking up, this withdrawal type energy, giving you the opportunity to kind of become more in tune with who you are and the things that you need. But it does feel like you're kind of like pulling away or pulling in for like introspection, right? To be able to kind of like deal with like your inner self. And a lot of you, I feel like you're actually in a space where you're tapping into like your own spirituality to help you through this time. But for the majority of you, I think, is due to this like overbearing personality type that you're kind of like over, right? I feel like you're in a space of just kind of like her shirt says, like she's completely over it. And so you're kind of not necessarily wanting to open up or open up about your feelings, or being reluctant to open up about your feelings to this person. And I'm going to pull some clarifiers to kind of like see where this is kind of like heading, but this is definitely like the energy that I was picking up on in terms of like being really withdrawn. The clarification for the Four of Cups in reverse is the lily, the sun, the clover, and the heart. So this again, like, is someone that you love and care about. You have a close relationship with them. It could be your parent, it could be a sibling, it could be someone that you're in a relationship with. But you are really in a space where you're kind of like withdrawing because you enjoy like the simpler aspects of life, or you're starting to enjoy the simpler aspects of life. So like I said, you're really in a space where you're trying to find things that kind of ground you but also teach you different things. So really just getting in touch with like trying different foods, or reading different books, or exploring like your sexuality or your spirituality, or a combination of all those things. And I feel like you're really just trying to navigate the space where you're trying to journey towards being like a better person for yourself, but from a pure place, or trying to kind of like work on being a little bit moral, or working on like your kindness level, and just trying to be like a better person overall. I think you're really realizing that the simple things, or the simple things in life is really like kind of appealing to you, more so than the state that you might have been in, especially when I feel like you're trying to like dodge a lot of confusion, and a lot of like, having to deal with people who might be coming at you, and so you're, feeling defensive. Like you could trade that in. You don't necessarily want to deal with that. And the card that comes out in the position of your near future is the Ten of Pentacles. So you are actively working and investing into yourself, but also to create like a better dynamic in terms of like your family structure. And so for those of you who are working on like trying to better yourself or your overall skill sets in order to invest in yourself and have that be kind of like shown on like a financial level, this is definitely going to be working to your benefit. Like the work that you put into yourself is going to be it's going to be beneficial to you on a long-term basis when it comes to like developing skills that will pay you like on a monetary level, and allow you to live to like purchase a home, or just be able to really like live in a good space with you and like your family, and have that like family structure that you want, and be able to provide and take care of your family on a financial level. Your current action is being shown here by the King of Cups. And so again, this is really speaking to you, really just trying to find emotional contentment, trying to be balanced in your emotions, trying to be the master of your emotions, and not allowing outside influences to necessarily push you into being the type of person that you really aren't, like on an internal level, and just really trying to get a hold and trying to be balanced with your emotions, and the way that you deal with or interact with people that are around you, particularly the people that you love and care about, even or despite the way that they might act towards you. In the position of like the outside influences to your current situation is the Fool in reverse. And so I mean, this could definitely be you. The Fool in reverse kind of like, to me, relates to like Aries, Gemini, Aquarian type energy, like a person who is just going to go their own way and do their own thing. And that's definitely kind of like where you're at right now. So this could definitely be you, in terms of like going your own way into yourself, and doing things for yourself, but on like a private note. But I don't necessarily feel that it is you. I feel like this is definitely an outside influence and an outside person who might have like Aries, Gemini, or Aquarius energy in their chart. But this person is acting recklessly, or they're just kind of like being like fearless. So they might be in a position where they're starting like a new chapter in their life, and they're really kind of like out on what I refer to as like their own fool's journey, where they don't necessarily know where they're going, they don't necessarily know what they're doing, but they're just venturing out and they're taking risks, and kind of like trying to figure it out as they go along. But when it's in the reverse, it's like they might be being reckless, where they're not necessarily considering what their actions how their actions can affect other people, and that could also be how their actions kind of like affect you, which is probably the reason why you're feeling so defensive, or just kind of like trying to withdraw from this particular person due to their actions. We have, for clarifiers, for the Fool in reverse, the Snake, the Woman, and the Man have shown up here, and also the Stork. So for some of you, this is one person who's kind of like fluctuating between negative and masculine energies, but the ultimate goal and the ultimate desire is they're very single-minded in their focus. So whatever it is that they're trying to get to, they're exuding a sense of like ambitiousness, maybe to the point, like I said, of recklessness. They might be using their like sexual nature to get the things that they want, which is kind of like why like the issue with morality might be coming up for you, because you might be looking at them and the way that they're operating in a way where it's like, wow, okay, what's really happening here? Right? They may be operating in a way, like I said, where they have a very single-minded focus, and they might be indulging in things that are a little bit confusing for you or feels like a little bit threatening to you. So this again could be one person, it could be two separate people, and if it's two separate people, then the feminine energy is like operating in like a very kind of like using her sexuality to kind of get what she wants in a reckless type of way. The masculine person is really trying to exert maybe that same type of energy, but also really trying to like work us focus on like a change, or trying to change. With the Stork here, it's about change and transformation, right? So they could be kind of like balancing and trying to like deal with their own energies together. They might be a couple, or they might just be two separate people who operate as a couple, or you see them as a duo or a pair, one with masculine energy, one with feminine energy. But ultimately, I feel like their recklessness or the way that they're approaching certain things, like you don't necessarily feel like they're considering anybody else but themselves and what it is that they want. And so that's kind of like the outside influences that are kind of happening and kind of playing out here. The card that comes out in the position of your hopes, your fears, and your dreams is the Tower in reverse. So I feel like ultimately you're concerned about like your foundation, right? It might be where you live. You're afraid of people or things or people kind of like being removed out of your life, and losing people in your life. And so that might be the kind of the reason why you're in a space where you're trying to depend on yourself and trying to nourish like the things that you need in order to create like a stable environment for you, like with the Ten of Pentacles that came out. So I feel like you're kind of like fearful. You're operating in a place where you're dealing with fear. This is a card that comes up when you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid disaster. You're trying to avoid a divorce. You're trying to avoid a fight. You're just trying to avoid. And like I said, you are definitely in defensive mode here. And so for some of you, this could really be you kind of like going into like a state of personal transformation. But I think there's also a state of observation that's happening here, where you're watching the way that other people are navigating, or the way that other people are dealing with things, and you're kind of like, okay, how much of this do I want to repeat? How much of these things do I want to to be doing in my own personal life, and what do I need to do to not participate in the things that I see when I see that they're like you're like, this is like a train wreck, right? Like you're watching the train wreck and you're trying to kind of like avoid it, right? The thing to remember though about the Tower card is that this is basically just spirit trying to kind of like balance things out, right? So when we see the Tower, we understand that things happen, like these are like major events that happen that remove people, things, and situations out of our lives. And sometimes we don't want these things to be removed out of our lives, but it might not necessarily be up to us, because when things are not built on a solid foundation or a solid secure ground, or they don't start off good, what's this? I remember when I was a kid, like there used to be this thing where people go like, how it starts is how it ends. Like, where it starts is where we're gonna go. It start bad, it's gonna end bad. So that's kind of like the thing. Like, if a thing doesn't start off in a good way, or it doesn't start off in the right way, or it doesn't start off on the up and up, and it's built on like a shaky foundation, then inevitably it's gonna fall. And I know that that's not necessarily something that we want to deal with or we want to handle, but these things happen, and they happen for our best. They're happening for our greatest good, because spirit sees fit to remove certain things out of your life for a reason. So that is just something to keep in mind. The clarification for the Tower in reverse is the Key, the Fox, and the Fish. So this is like, when we see the Fish, we're talking about like financial issues, like abundance, money, just overall financial matters, right? And so the Fox is an indication that someone might not necessarily be acting in the most responsible way when it comes to their finances, or they're getting money or getting finances in a very suspicious way. Because when we see the Fox, we see that someone is sneaky, they're being like cautious. It does involve a little bit of a trickery on their part in order to secure or gain finances. And the Key is about opening up. And so this is could be like your hesitancy about opening up to someone, or even kind of like speaking to someone about the things that you might be observing in the way that they're acting when it comes to like finances, or if they're like doing like a little bit of a bait and switch or trickery attached to the way that they handle money, or the way that they're handling finances, or the way they go about getting finances. And so the key here is a hesitancy to kind of talk about that, to open up about that, to have a discussion about that, because you might not necessarily know how open you can be or what you can say to this person. But there is a little bit of, like I said, caution, and dealing with someone who has a very selfish view on money and finances, and is operating in a way that you might view to be greedy, right? So you might not necessarily want to share your finances with them, or you might be seeing that that's the way that they're handling you, in terms of like, the way that they deal with you and money, or it's like I feel like I said, I feel like this is all like an observatory thing with you, that you're observing someone else on the outside doing this. And so it's kind of like putting you in a space where you're kind of like falling back, because you might not necessarily want to deal with this is going back to like the reckless nature of someone else, right? So I feel like that's kind of like attached to that. And the Fox card is definitely kind of pointing towards someone being a little bit operating in a way that might not necessarily be up to par when it comes to finances. In the final outcome, the card that comes out is the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. And so I like to look at the Seven of Pentacles in conjunction with the Ten of Pentacles, which is the immediate future. So the immediate future is the Ten of Pentacles, but I feel like that's going to be a little bit of a delay in terms of that financial security that you're looking for. I feel like your kind of like focus, or your overall focus and goal, is going to be questioning about who you want to live, where you want to live, who you want to put your time and energy into, who do you actively want to work with, because the difference between the 7 and the 10 is a 3, and that is like a collaborative type energy. So I feel like there's a little bit of confusion on your part about who it is that you want to collaborate with, and I feel like you don't necessarily see that right now. I feel like this is for you kind of like looking towards like your future, right? So in this space, I feel like what you're doing is you're investing a lot of time and energy into the pre-work, right, to make sure that you're putting your energy into the right things, so that you can ultimately get the benefits that you want and be able to kind of like reap the rewards of your hard work. But I don't necessarily feel like you're there right now to reap those rewards, because there is a little bit of hesitancy on your part concerning your trust level or your trust factor with the people that you might be kind of like dealing with now, whether this is family, whether this is your job, whether this is like a relationship. I feel like you're kind of like hesitant about if this is going to work out, or who you should be investing your time and energy into to get that family structure that you want. So you want to be careful about who you pour your energy and time into, because you don't want to pour your energy. You can't get that back. Like, your energy and your time is precious, and you can't get that back if you're pouring it into like something that's pouring into something or someone who might be acting in a reckless way, or they can like basically upset the plans that you have for yourself or the plans that you have for your future. So I do feel like, in terms of like that 10 of Pentacles energy, that is something that's in your near future, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit delayed because you might be scattered about where you're investing your time and your energy and your affections in an overall on an overall note. Okay, the clarification cards again for this card is the Child, the Rider, the Fish again, the Bird, the Fox, and the Anchor. So I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, there is a sense here that stability is very important to you, but you want to make sure that you are being responsible when it comes to your finances, responsible about the people that you choose to have children with, because children are not an anchor for finances, and also just to be aware of the people that you have in your circle and the way that they operate, if they're immature with their finances. You don't want to be immature with your finances, but you also don't want to settle down with someone who's immature with their finances, because that can cause a financial strain on the relationship, which I kind of feel like is a factor for you. And so just to be mindful again of having a child during this period. I feel like it's a very fertile time period, and so if you aren't with someone that you feel like you can trust, or then you might want to kind of reconsider having a child with them, because there is like a whole child kind of thing. If this is you again looking at like your child, I feel like you might also need to be aware that your child might not necessarily feel safe, or that they might be having an issue with kind of like withdrawing or not sharing the way that they feel with you, because of fear and anxiety about your reaction to what they're going to say. So those are just a couple of things to be mindful of. But again, like I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a delay in terms of like your overall goal, due to you needing to be really certain that you are where you're supposed to be, and that the foundation that you're building is a strong and secure one, with someone, and whether that be, like I said, at work or in your relationships, but it also could be within like your family dynamics. So we're gonna move into the advice portion of this reading, and I am using the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards deck for advice cards, and 3 cards came out. The first one is Broken Arrow, that says to embrace the energy of peace. Let go of the need to defend yourself and prepare to offer peace. You are safe. Just as the arrow card symbolizes defense and protection, the broken arrow card symbolizes peace. In Native American traditions, a broken arrow would mean that tribes were no longer fighting one another, but were making alliances. When you see a broken arrow in a meditation, vision, dream, or reading, it is a message that you no longer need to fight because peace has arrived. This is a powerful symbol of harmony, serenity, and community. If you have been exposed to a situation in which you have felt the need to protect yourself or defend what you feel is right, know that this is now coming to an end. With the arrival of the Broken Arrow card, you are being guided to know that the energies of light are entering to wash away all the darkness. You can drop your shields and protection. You are now in a situation that will honor you and honor your needs. Arguments are ending and disagreements are being resolved. Prepare to talk things through and offer the peace that you would like to enjoy. In order to move forward in a more fearless way, it's important for you to let go of the idea that you can be hurt by the situation or the people involved, because this will only work against you. Know that your angelic guides and ancestors are standing around you, protecting you, and taking you lovingly forward. So that kind of like speaks to like the past, where you might have been feeling a bit defensive, and feeling like you had to be on guard all the time. So that is gonna, like I said, be coming to an end, and you're going to be moving into a state of ultimate balance with a Temperance card, right? So the second card that came out is the Magic Guardian, and that says to unlock the magic within. Stop looking outside yourself and recognize that you have incredible power within. Magic with a K is the energy of the universe that allows you to manifest and create through the direction and power of your will. It changes according to your frequency. The Magic Guardian is a representation of the angel of magic who helps you direct your will to bring something into creation. She is the angel who swirls around shamans and wise ones when they are calling on the energy of magic to help them manifest something that will be healing and supportive of their path. She is the angel of all magic that is directed for the highest good of whoever is working with it. You are the magic. You are the answer. You have it all within you. If you've been searching for an answer or a reason to focus, recognize that all that you are looking for is already within you. You are a powerful and magical person with the capacity to direct your intentions and will your desires into being. But your power can only be powerful when you own it. So take time to acknowledge it. Your ability to dedicate yourself to a goal and make it happen is a real gift that you are being guided to recognize now. And it's interesting because the last card is the Shaman card, right? So that says to trust in higher forces, trust in your angels, guides, and ancestors. If you've given your power away, claim it back. On the inner planes, all of the shamans of times gone by are helping the human race to understand the complexities of life and the needs of Mother Earth. Many are working as spiritual guides to light workers and light warriors. The Shaman card brings the energy of your shaman guides to you. Shamans believe that when there was illness or disease, it was because a person's power had been left behind somewhere or a negative pattern had installed itself in them. In trance, they would travel to the underworld to recall this power and to remove the demon. If this card comes to you, it's because you need to do some release work with lower energies or with your lack of trust in the spiritual energies that are guiding you. The shaman will aid you in your quest. There are spiritual allies working in your favor, and their miracles will unfold much more easily when you move into a state of trust. So call back your power and stop allowing external forces to divert you from the miracles you deserve. Hand over all of your concerns to your spiritual allies. When you do so, you allow them to send you intuitive guidance and messages that will allow you to correct the situation and come out on top. The Shaman card also shows that you have shamanic potential to move between the realms and to connect with your guides in an extremely personal way. And again, for a lot of you, like I said, this is ancestral maternal energy, particularly grandmother energy that it feels like it's like really coming through for you. So that is definitely something that you should tap into to get the answers for things that are bothering you, especially for the things that you feel like you need to protect yourself from. Allow them to give you the guidance on that. So that is the ending of the reading. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you being here and for watching. Please like the video and leave a comment below. Share your thoughts. Let me know how this is working out in your life. Share the video with a friend who can benefit from the message. Of course, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for post notifications, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.